Come on, evil camera. We are live and totally confused on a wonderful sunny Tuesday morning in beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. Now, supposedly, this camera can sit on top of the monitor, but it likes to fall off. The monitor that I have just isn't practical. And if I taped it on, I couldn't move it when I want to. Come on, you evil camera, hold still. Ah, wow. It's sunny, not too cold. Of course, I forgot to put my coffee and tea and water up here on the desk where I can reach them. Oops, let's get them. Coffee, tea, and water. Hi, Howard. In the chat room. I'm on the desktop computer again. I got most of the stuff off the desk. Well, let's see. I planted some tomato seeds in pots outside. And so, of course, the local critters, probably raccoons, maybe a skunk, dip their fingers into the dirt in the pots looking for worms and grubs. So I used a trick that I think might work. I had some old oranges that actually tangerines. They were not moldy, but too old to eat, all shriveled up and wrinkled. And I put one of those in each of the pots because, sorry, I've got hiccups, because the critters don't like citrus. So it might keep them out of the pots. Of course, the old tangerines need to come out. And make room for the little sprouts to come up. And then the tomato plants at a certain point will have to go in the ground or into a larger pot. We'll see. Oh, thanks about the lilacs, Howard. Yeah, my lilacs are in full bloom now, but every year they last only a few days. There's that poem, When Lilacs in the Courtyard Bloomed. Let me see if Google will tell me. I think it's lilacs once in the courtyard bloomed. Come on. When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed. I never get it right. It was a poem by Walt Whitman written as an elegy to President Abraham Lincoln. In 1865, when the nation was mourning the assassination of President Lincoln, lilacs just don't last long. Let me see. I got a thumbs up icon to post. Yay. All right. I don't know what to think. Let's see. Elon Musk bought Twitter at a price that was very good for the stockholders. They made a nice profit. He says that he's for freedom of speech. People keep calling it free speech. Well, free speech isn't free. You might have to pay for it, but you have freedom to speak. The thing is, he's kind of, well, he wants to prevent things like, especially illegal things like death threats. You know, shouting fire in a crowded theater when there is no fire. Come on, camera, stay put. But he wants all political viewpoints and opinions on other aspects of life to be freely discussed. So, why are people panicking? Sorry, I got itchies all over. It's that season. Pollen and weeds like crazy this time of year. They're apoplectic. They're having seizures because Elon Musk bought Twitter. Last time I checked, Elon Musk was not a right winger, certainly not a Republican. Yeah, he was born in South Africa, but he left South Africa. That ought to tell you something. But he has always seemed to be very liberal. He's on board with climate change. The guy makes electric cars, for crying out loud. And he has other projects. He sent people into space. Wow. So what's so horrible about Elon Musk owning Twitter? I don't know. Let's turn this around so I can reach my tea. I'm working on getting a good photo to put on coffee mugs. I have not signed up at Buy Me a Coffee just yet, but I will. And I'm also going to go on Odyssey, as Witta recommended, as ODYSEE, I think. I'll get there. I've been ill for a week. I was better yesterday, and I think I'm well today. Been slowly improving. Last Thursday, I slept all day, about 2 or 3 hours at a time, and then I'd get up for a few minutes. But I couldn't eat much, and my guts were my enemy. I don't think it's anything I ate, but maybe it was. I did take a bite of a hot dog and decide I didn't like it, and I tossed it out. I even spat it out in the trash. So maybe there was something wrong with that hot dog. It had been in the refrigerator for a while. I don't know. Hi, Delta Dart. Oh, Carter. And Witta. Okay, gotta type that too. It's in general easier to use the desktop, except I'm not familiar with it yet. Oh, I must have clicked shift instead of caps lock. I meant for Witta to be, oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Anyway, I will join Odyssey. I will sign up for um uh Odyssey. My brain is playing games with me. Carter, I might have a story for your emanations. It, I have to check first. I wrote it for a German publisher who was going to publish it in German and English. And apparently the project just never happened. It's fiction. And I don't have another spot for it right now. It's called Mural, and it involves a church with a mural of Mary Magdalene, and it's spooky. Okay, yes, Witta, I will email you about Odyssey points. Yeah, well, I'm taking a break from everything. I've been ill for a week. I think I'm okay now, and I have to do laundry. And since I haven't had the washing machine repaired yet, it means a trip to the laundromat. Oh, well. Hmm. Wow. Anyway, they did send me the German translation and suggested that I get a literary agent in Germany to interest publishers in translating my other work. So maybe I can get a German translation done of my novel, The Darkening of the Light. By the way, Emanations has a Facebook page and a website, and it's an awesome anthology that comes out, I think, about once a year. And Carter is the YouTube would not notify me of new videos while I'm on live. That's ridiculous. Um, laundromat. I hate the laundromat. At home, I can pop things in the machine and go do something else for a while. As long as I keep an eye on it in case it gets hung up. But not at the laundromat. At least there's a small local shop nearby where I can hang out for a little bit. Oh well. It must be done. I have nothing left to wear. Oh wow. Also, I've made some progress on clearing the storage that I have in my driveway and in my shed. I'm putting together things that I can either yard sale or put on consignment at a local shop. I've decided not to list on eBay for the time being. They're, for one thing, suffering growing pains that happened during the pandemic. And for another, they're just making all kinds of rules that make life difficult for people selling stuff. And in some cases, unnecessarily. But I will look into other websites where I might list things for sale. I did buy a couple things on eBay recently. I mean, I look on Amazon and JCPenney and all these other websites. You stop it, you stinking phone. That's too loud. And like a pair of jeans that I wanted was $50 plus shipping. I found the same thing on eBay, brand new, for $20 and free shipping. It was probably a second or a closeout sale. The larger chains of stores will take merchandise that hasn't been selling fast enough and make a box or a crate of it and sell it cheap to a reseller. And most often there's nothing wrong with it. They just want to make room for new merchandise. Anyway, the jeans arrived, brand new, good condition. I was happy. There's something going on out front. Oh, maybe it's the neighbors. I don't see anything out the window. The CAT wants OUT. She knows what certain words mean. Ain't happening till I'm off the live video, because if I hear cat screams outside, I have to drop everything and go break up the fight. A rather large orange gentle cat has been hanging around. I did manage to find that he has a home, found his owner through Facebook. He just likes to go out and make friends and eat other cats' food. I can't afford to feed him, and he's sweet. He's terribly sweet, but Tora hates him. I guess Tora is not going to say hi to her fans, her adoring fans, unless I break out the treats. Ah! Tear here, my foot. Hi, Tora. Yes, I got your treats. Come here. Come here. Give me my Tora. Come on. All right, I'll use the camera. I'll move the camera and instead of the cat. She's heavy and non-cooperative. There's Sweetie, and there's Tora. Here's your face. There she is. And there's Sweetie. She's such a pretty cat. Once in a while she's eating treats, she won't mind if I just kind of gently brush against her without actually touching her, but just kind of combing her hair with my fingers. There you go, guys. There's my good girls. Sweetie thinks her name is Good Girl. Yeah, good kitty cats. Cardinal Sin is sending me some of those Dunhill cigarettes that I like to talk about. It's a real hassle to try to buy tobacco products on the internet. You have to prove that you're over 18. Well, I'm way over 18. Way over. I guess that's as good as the camera's gonna get. I'm going back and forth because, as usual, I'm in Great Granny's rocking chair. It's comfortable. Yes, well, you ate them all. That's all you get. Go eat your kibble. Cats. Well, let's see. So, people panic when others are allowed to speak. Elon Musk has been tweeting, by the way. But even though some channels have been restored or users, members on Twitter, and some who had been shadow banned are now getting more followers and more responses to their tweets. Certain people are not back on Twitter. Let's see, the pillow guy signed up again and was on for about a day when he was banned again. And of course, 45 isn't on Twitter. There's all kinds of stuff on Twitter that I find offensive, but you know what? If you're offended, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, turn the knob. That was back in the days when radios had knobs. My radio has knobs, but the new ones just have buttons. Change the channel. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't read it. Go do something else. Huh. Hi, sweetie. You're cute. That's my good girl. Hello. They don't deserve more treats. Yeah, freedom of speech is there to protect offensive speech. Sorry, I got a cat hair or something tickling me. Speech that is not offensive doesn't need protection. And freedom of speech includes the freedom to tell lies. Oh, but that's misinformation or disinformation. So now we have a ministry of truth to go around deleting things that they disagree with. I've already experienced that on Facebook. I posted a joke. Well, actually, I shared someone else's post of a joke, and it was removed as disinformation. I challenged it. I appealed saying, hey, it's a joke. Of course it isn't true. But it's still, nope, it's deleted and you get a strike against you. If you do it again, there will be consequences. YouTube actually isn't as bad as Facebook. But I really wonder how much YouTube is not allowing. Some of my favorite channels are gone from YouTube and are now on either Locals or Odyssey or maybe even Rumble. I haven't checked out Rumble. There's a site called Getter, Gettr. I get emails from them, but I've never clicked anything. I'm busy trying to finish writing my book about the exegesis of Philip K. Dick. And, well, Phil, unfortunately, let's see, did I keep that book out? Or did I put it away again? I meant to keep it out. Yeah, it's there. He depended it to a great extent on a book that really is not reliable. It doesn't have any footnotes or references for the claims that it makes, but it's a great read. The Morning of the Magicians. Let me see if I can grab it. Ah, come on, give me. There, here we go. Nope. Oh, yes. The Morning of the Magicians. I've brought this one up before by Louis Powells and Jacques Bergier. The original French edition came out much earlier than the English translation, but it was published in England, I think. Let's see. Okay. In 1971, it was published in France. In Great Britain, oh dear. No, this paperback was published in 71 and reprinted twice. They make it confusing. It was actually published in Great Britain in 1963 under the title The Dawn of Magic. It was published in Paris, in French, of course, in 1960. So, but this edition, The Morning of the Magicians, was published in 1971 by Mayflower Books. Limited, Frogmore, St. Albans, Hertz, and a bunch of, postal codes. Oh dear. And it has a copyright warning. Oops. It's got photos and really cool info. It does reprint some correspondence by actual people, but with no references, no index, no footnotes. It really cannot be confirmed. But the main thesis is that the Nazis were using black magic. And that's probably true. And of course, Phil was fascinated by the Nazis, which whom he portrayed in his novel, The Man in the High Castle. I think the Netflix series of the same title, The Man in the High Castle, really screwed up when they did not delve deeper into the um, occult nature of the Nazi philosophy, which was not merely political. It was a sort of religion. Yeah, you can get the Morning of the Magicians all over the place. But you can't really depend or rely upon it as a reference. You have to find other sources to confirm what it claims. What are you cats doing? Tora, you don't need to beat up, sweetie. They do that so I'll give them treats to pacify and mollify them. Okay. Let's see. I got party mix. Yes, I do. Where's Tora? Now, when they're play fighting, Tora wins. But when there's food involved, Sweetie wins. She'll just shove her head underneath Tora's head and eat Tora's treats. Or her bowl of tuna or cat food. Speaking of tuna, can't believe it's like $1.50 for a can of tuna, the little one. I wanted to buy a steak, but this rib eye that was only 3/4 of a pound was priced over $18. And by the way, we have shortages of coffee, crackers, cookies, cooking oil. Thank God there's no toilet paper shortage this time. They have plenty of toilet paper. They must have stocked up during the panic. I don't know what some people are going to do with the tons of toilet paper they bought during the pandemic. I guess they thought they could sell it for double what they paid, but no, people and stores found ways to make it work, like limit one per customer. Oh, Lord. Phil also used this little book, The Meaning of the Dead Sea Scrolls by A. Powell Davies. On the back, it says, the greatest challenge. I'm making the mistake of pointing it at the monitor instead of the camera. Oh well. The fascinating story of the discovery and meaning of the world-famed Dead Sea Scrolls is unfolded in this arresting book, which brilliantly describes the importance and tremendous interest to believers everywhere of the centuries-old documents found in a cave in the Holy Land, now the and now the prime study of the world's leading religious scholars. A. Powell Davies, late pastor of the All Souls Church in Washington, D.C. So I guess this is a posthumous publication because he was dead when the paperback was printed. Let's see. Was the author of many books, including The Temptation to Be Good, America's Real Religion, and The Ten Commandments. Doesn't mention. On the inside front page, um, with a great sense of drama and suspense, Dr. Davies relates the astounding results of their study. That is, the Dead Sea Scholars' studies, which confirms the authenticity of the documents and shows their earth shaking influences on established religion. And I got the page on the first try. He shows the writing, the various letters. You see, the Hebrew script changed over time. He shows modern Hebrew script, the English equivalent, of course, which is really Latin or Roman letters. He shows medieval scripts and various ancient scripts, and how they are, he actually depicts them and doesn't just describe what they look like and how they changed over time. Now, what I've learned here and there is that the Dead Sea Scrolls include the Isaiah Scrolls. Hi, V. Oh, I guess I started early today, V. Little early, probably 10 minutes early. It is now 8:25 and I've been on for almost 40 minutes, so close to 15 minutes. I just started early and puttered around and gave the cats treats. Oh, the clock on the wall? The battery is dead, so the clock isn't working at all. It eats batteries. They should have thought of that when they made it. It takes a single, just one AA battery. It should take two. Let me see if I can grab a AA to show you. I know I have one in here. I have to move this little table so I can more easily get into the drawer. There. Peanut butter cup. Well, that's a Rolo. Oh, the peanut butter cup. And a Rolo. Okay. This little tiny thing. That's all that poor clock has to power it. It goes dead too often, so I'm going to have to get rechargeable batteries or the expense will be horrid. Wow. What a day. Now, this book uh, has, I guess they're not footnotes, they're end notes at the back of the book. A list of references, a section on the dating of the scrolls. Um, Sadly, no index. But this book, let's get you the copyright date. 1956. I was 2 years old when this was published. It's early on when they assumed that the Sons of Light battling the Sons of Darkness was a Christian manuscript. And today, the consensus among scholars is that no, it was not. It was more of a Zoroastrian document. Let's see. Beacon says, hello, land lovers. Better spray some Ubik on the clock. That's a good idea. Okay, I gotta type hi, Beacon. I'm over 40 minutes in, and I do need to recycle some coffee. So I'll take this opportunity to eat my peanut butter cup while I'm out of the room. I'll be back in a flash, so hang in there. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Oh, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. I'm back. Wow. Wowzer Bowser. Wow. Well, Philip K. Dick, that is, my husband, was fascinated by Zoroastrianism, the religion of ancient Persia, which is still practiced in some places today. They have churches and everything. involves the Lord of Light in a constant battle against the evil Lord of Darkness. Oh, UFO files were released. I'm sorry, I'm just disappointed with what has been released. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah, right. You have to be a Zoroastrian. You have to be of a specific lineage, coming down from ancient Persia. But many people dabble in it. There are YouTube videos all about their practices, their rituals, etc. But yeah, they don't go around converting people. You can't convert to Zoroastrianism. And then, of course, there's the Christian heresy, Manichaeism, followers of Mani, Mani. Let's see if I can spell Manichaeism. Oh, YouTube says I spelled it right. He was a dualist, quite influenced by Zoroastrianism, but quite the heretic. I think the main sticking point that got him kicked out of the early Christian church was denying the divinity of Christ. Now, I don't pretend to understand how Jesus could be God and man at the same time. Come on, camera, settle down. But that was the accepted doctrine and still is. And one of the main disputes that caused the Eastern Orthodox churches to separate from Rome was that they didn't put Jesus on the same level as the Father. And it's Eastern Orthodox churches, plural. They don't have a pope. Each country has its own Orthodox church with its own I keep forgetting the word. It's patriarch. Same concept, different word. They mean father. Pope is papa in Italian. He's the father. And the patriarch is, of course, the father. Let's see, David Bowie was a Gnostic. He died, huh? Oh, yeah. Very dark and occult. Yeah. Well, I didn't care for David Bowie until I saw him in that movie. I keep forgetting the title of the movie. It's very surrealist and it involves a sort of a Cinderella story. No, I never saw The Man Who Fell to Earth. I understand there's a remake now. He was in I think it was actually a TV movie made for television. I think it was called Labyrinth, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Put this down. David Bowie movies. Yeah, Labyrinth. Okay, let's see what okay, oh, if I can get a summary. I don't want a YouTube. I'm not going to watch it. 16-year-old Sarah is given 13 hours to. Now I have to click through to IMDb. Solve a labyrinth and rescue her baby brother Toby when her wish for him to taken away is granted by the Goblin King Jareth. Oh, but I had to click through for that little bit. Oh, I did a computer game called Omicron. That's interesting. I don't know if Ridley Scott did at Labyrinth. Okay, Labyrint, director. Oh, there's a director's cut. Jim Henson? With George Lucas as executive producer, but Jim Henson of the Muppets directed it. And George Lucas isn't far different from Ridley Scott, except that, you know, hey, Star Wars is quite different from Blade Runner. Jim did The Dark Crystal also. Now, I don't remember The Dark Crystal, although I must have seen it. That was a shame. Jim Henson got the flu and died. I seem to have very good resistance, if not immunity, to flu viruses. Oh, hi, Morgan. Didn't notice you there for a moment. Gotta say hi. Wow. Wowzer Bowser. Labyrinth was. I really liked Labyrinth. Dark Crystal, I think I've seen it. Let me see if Google can jog my memory. Oh, Jen, raised by the noble race called the Mystics, has been told that he is the last survivor of his own race, the Gelflings. He sets out to try to find a shard of the Dark Crystal, a powerful gem that once provided balance to the universe. After the crystal was broken, the evil Skeksis used sinister means to gain control. Jen believes that he can repair the Dark Crystal and bring peace back to the world if he can only find the remaining shard. Yes, I have seen it, but it isn't as clear in my mind as Labyrinth. Let's see, Farscape is pretty awesome, Morgan says. He thinks that Henson's son worked on it. Humph. Yeah. Well, most of the movies I've seen were either on television or on the internet. I've rarely gone to the theater. But at one time, when The Fugitive, the one with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, was new or relatively new. I saw that film 12 times. Can't do that with fingers. Okay, 1, 2, 12 times. In the theater. And then I bought the videotape because 13 is unlucky. I was fascinated by Tommy Lee Jones's role as the agent who's tracking down the fugitive, Dr. Kimball. Can't remember the agent's name, but I was really struck by that performance. So I got a tape of Lonesome Dove. After 15 minutes, I shut it off and never went back to it. Boring! Okay, we get the idea. You don't have food for the pig, so the pig has to go kill a snake. All right, already. And then they get on their horses and they're shooting the bull, just talking trash to each other. All right, is anything going to happen? Jesus. And I wouldn't have minded so much if it were a normal movie of, say, 90 minutes, but the darn thing was 12 hours. I did not look forward to being bored for 12 hours. It was on 3 or 4 tapes. It didn't fit on one tape. Oh, Beacon thinks the price of silver will go up. That would be nice for me if it did. I have just a couple of silver coins, but if the price goes up high enough, I could sell them and pay some bills. Okay, once again, to recap for people who weren't here, I have not yet signed up for Buy Me a Coffee, but I will. I have not yet logged into Odyssey, or I'm not sure whether I've joined it. I'll either log in or join, but I will. I've been ill for a week. Something intestinal, maybe a bad hot dog that I almost ate but spat it out. But it's been a full week of my guts absolutely torturing me. And I think I'm okay now. Now I have like a silver dollar and a couple silver quarters. Not much. And at today's silver prices, I might as well hang on to them. I've been told that the price of silver is kept artificially low, and I believe it because the price of silver was higher in the 1980s than it is now. 40 years ago, when money was worth a little more than it is now, the rent on a 3-bedroom house was about $300 a month. You can't rent a room for less than $1,000 today. What's Witta saying? Oh, she thinks I have a Odyssey channel, but she's not sure that it's really mine. Well, let me see. It looks like I have a channel. I have to check my email to get a link to log in. Where's my email? Which email did I give them? Yeah, it's that one. Here we go. Sign in requested from new location. Yeah, I'm on a different computer. Okay, I do have a... Okay, login success. You can now close this tab. Let me see my wallet. Everything's 0. Home. Shows who I'm following people on Odyssey. I didn't know that. Where can I... Somehow I have 1.48 spendable. Oh, 0.48 is spendable. But my wallet is empty. That's weird. Premium, list, featured. Where can I find a link to give you? Let's see. Channels. Oh, it's called Tessa Speaking Out. Here we go. So, that's a weird looking... Why is that in red? I don't know. I think that might be right. I don't know why it has a 0.6 at the end. Let me see. Yeah, it goes to my channel. Oh, that isn't a 0.6, it's :6. I have a follower. Who's my follower? Doesn't say. Oh, there's a share button. Sheesh. I can share it on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, well, I'll get to Odyssey soon. I don't understand why it's making red things on my post. Okay. Oh, Witta's my follower. Well, thank you, Witta. Sent me some Odyssey coins. I'll have to go. I've been just uploading small, short, brief recordings on locals. I really don't like the idea that you can't comment or even read the comments without paying. But that's how locals works. Anyway, I'll start going on Odyssey too, also, and like that. And maybe I can speak a bit more freely. But you see, I went through a period on mostly Facebook where people were insulting me by calling me a Republican. For a while, I tried to be a libertarian, but the official Libertarian Party is too libertine for my taste. In fact, it looked to me like a racket where a man could sleep with any woman he wanted and not get married and not even support the woman who was living with him. all in the name of personal responsibility and all that crap. It's just free sex, just like the hippie free love movement in San Francisco in the 1960s. I mean, you live with a man, you have sex with him, you have his child, and he has no responsibility toward you or the child. It's all your problem. No, I'm not buying it. When Phil married me, he said straight out in so many words, there is no my money or my house. It's our money and our house and our child. Oh, don't worry about it, Witta. I'll get on Odyssey soon. It might be that they have to wait a few days to confirm that those points are legitimate. And if I have to spend $1, I don't know what their minimum is. I might go ahead and do that. I'll bet the points I have are from watching videos, although I don't recall whether I watched anything. I must have. Just my short-term memory sucks, and I'm having great difficulty remembering the past 10 years. I know what happened, but I can't tell you which year. Yeah, V says he has libertarian acquaintances, and they're all jerks. Yeah. It seems they've all read Atlas Shrugged. Well, it's all fine and dandy for Dagny Taggart, who is a wealthy heiress, to support herself. I'm not a wealthy heiress. Sheesh. I'm thrilled that McAfee found no viruses on my computer. Oh, that's why McAfee keeps telling me my subscription is expired. I thought it was spam. This desktop computer that Gil from Cardinal Sin bought for me with donations from a fundraiser, it has McAfee. We used to call it McAfee, but it's really McAfee. It's pre-installed with I don't know, a few months maybe, free subscription to their premium gadgets, or, Yeah, Cardinal Sin. It's amazing. He's also sending me some Dunhill cigarettes. These stupid Camel filters are expensive enough. The coffee is Arkansided. Don't know what that means. Arkansided? Oh, I probably should go with one of the free antivirus programs like Avast. Yeah, you can pay for a premium service with more gadgets to play with. They always tell me I have broken registry items, but if I pay for a subscription, they can fix the registry. Well, tech guys, tech people have advised me not to mess with the registry, just leave it alone. Oh, I see. Arkansas. Okay. Reference to the former governor of Arkansas and his lovely wife, Hillary. I wouldn't doubt it. Oh, wow. What a day. What a year. What a 2 years. We were supposed to just chill out at home for 2 weeks to slow the spread so the hospitals would not get overwhelmed. It's been more than 2 years. No wonder people are tired of it and unwilling to go along with the program. I heard it's a rumor, but it might be true. I mean, supposedly Dr. Fauci is going to retire. About time. 35 years is long enough in any one job. But who will be his replacement? The Supreme Court has ruled that the mask mandate from the CDC is unconstitutional. So it will require an act of Congress to reinstate the mask mandate, and that could happen. It's only primarily for public transportation. And when I see my doctor, I have to wear a mask. But when I studied science, let's see, which I did quite seriously for years, they warned us, don't let one scientist play around with nuclear bombs or infectious diseases, because no matter what the risks, there will be somebody willing to play with it and take the chance, because if they're successful, the rewards are huge. The problem is the chances of success are small and the risks are huge. But there's always some mad scientist, just like in the movies, who's willing to make a Frankenstein monster and bring a corpse to life. That's how I feel about this AI project to upload your brain, your personality, and all that into a computer so you can have eternal life. I wouldn't want to live forever as a computer program. Sorry. And even if that computer program might convince me that he or she is that person, I doubt that the actual program has any self-awareness the way we understand it. Self-awareness, well, I think my cat is self-aware. I have my doubts about insects, especially like ants. There's a queen ant and all the workers, and the workers seem to be simply robotic extensions of the queen doing her bidding. I don't think an individual ant has any true self-awareness. That's something unique to mammals and perhaps to reptiles and amphibians and birds. Maybe even fish, definitely whales, maybe sharks. Ant colony is not called England. Hi, Sandra. Welcome in. I don't know. I'm pretty sure birds are self-aware. I've known some really amazing birds. Don't know for sure about snakes and lizards and frogs and so forth. Alligators and crocodiles scare the bejesus out of me. But maybe they're self-aware. Don't know. But they'd just as soon eat you as look at you. My cat would eat me if I died and she couldn't go out and catch a mouse. I'm certain of that. She wouldn't just sit there and die without, taking advantage of the available food supply. The birds in your trees sing ABBA for food and praise. Well, some humans would eat a dead person. It has happened. But not all humans would. There's a movement saying that birds aren't real. What are they, little robot spies checking up on you for Big Brother? I couldn't stand reading 1984, so I started listening to it as an audiobook. But I have to take frequent breaks from it. Okay, the birds thing was a prank, huh? Yeah, well, by the way, we did go to the moon and the Earth is not flat. I'm not convinced that we sent astronauts to the moon in that tin can, but maybe we did. And the biggest thing they come up with is the Van Allen belts. Radiation that can kill you. Well, yeah, if you get to a powerful part of that field and you stay there for long enough, it can kill you. But the space capsule isn't sitting still. It's moving. Plus, there are gaps in the Van Allen belts. And it's quite possible to avoid most of that radiation by, um, you know, programming a path through them that avoids the worst of it. Now, they did find that they had to lower the orbit of the space station, the International Space Station, because it was kind of touching some of that radiation in the Van Allen belt, and the astronauts were seeing bright flashes in their eyes from the radiation. I'm trying to remember the name of the particle. It's on the tip of my brain. But they didn't die. They were in danger of going blind. Oh, Majestic 12. Well, Majestic 12, I think, took a nugget of truth and then fleshed it out with fantasy. The one of the favorite tactics of those who want to keep things secret is to leak something so fantastic that nobody will actually believe it, because it is mostly fluff and nonsense. But there's usually a nugget of truth wrapped in a lie. Yeah, Black Ops. I'm not sure what the TR-38 is, Beacon, but I have seen aircraft that are definitely U.S. Air Force, but are not publicly known. Oddly, when I was working on March Air Force Base and on the Marine Base in 29 Palms, and at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, nobody told me not to talk about things. I didn't have to sign any documents promising not to talk about what I saw. And I think that was brilliant of them, because it never occurred to me to talk about the things I saw. I figured they weren't so secret if I wasn't required to sign something. Oh, come on, you evil computer. It's notifying me of new YouTube things to watch. Oh, the triangle. The triangle craft with lights underneath. The TR. Is that 38 or 3B? I think it's 38. Let me check. B and 8. Oh, it's an 8, TR-38. See, I typed the B and the 8 so I could compare. Blacker than the night sky and sucked light into its shape, the size of a swimming pool. Oh, the weirdest thing I ever saw, I was 6 years old at the time. Huge, glowing, red-orange globe, like a great big rubber ball in the sky. And not just sitting there, but coming down over the back fence into my backyard. Oh no, it isn't an 8, it's a B. I didn't look closely enough. It's a TR-3B. Well, anyway, type. Come on, evil keyboard. That's it's not itted. Oh well. Typos are to be expected. I used to type on typewriters for work. I was pretty good at it. But when I had to take a typing test in applying for a job, I wasn't that fast. I was that accurate, but not that fast. Uh, mm. Cowlicks in my hair, and that includes my eyebrows and eyelashes. And once in a while, either a lock of hair or a single eyelash or eyebrow hair would just go boing, and that tickles. I'd rather be punched in the face than tickled. Beacon doesn't UFO hunt anymore. Coronation Street is on the telly. I'm not up on British TV, television. Um, I've watched all of Midsummer Murders that I could find. I watched the first two seasons of Downton Abbey. Third season kind of fell flat for me, so I turned it off. Um, of course, I watched Doctor Who, but I've never watched the current Doctor, the woman. Oh, Agatha Christie. Yes, she is your best export. I've been listening to audiobooks of Agatha Christie's stories that I never knew about. I only recently discovered the Tommy and Tuppence series. I think I'd go by Tuppence too if my parents named me Prudence. But I discovered it by a roundabout way. I saw an episode of Agatha Christie's Miss Marple in which Tuppence was investigating the murder of a child, and toward the end, Tommy showed up to take over the investigation. Okay, Beacon first met me while tracking ISON, ISON. You lived in Agatha's Street. I don't know what ISON is. But that's interesting. What I'd really like to know is what Agatha Christie was doing when she disappeared. Yeah, Freedomizer Radio days. What's his name? Really? The Freedomizer guy. I forgot his handle. Anyway, he invited me to be on his show sometime next week. So I'll go on as a guest. But I really hate Blog Talk and WordPress, the two major websites that Freedomizer Radio uses. And I'm just not going to do shows there anymore. I didn't feel well treated. And that's all I'm going to say. Open source software? Well, anyway. Oh, my water's empty. The horror. Let's fill in the water. Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum. 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 Dum-de-dum-de-dum. I want something and I don't know what it is. Well, frankly, I think WordPress deliberately makes it impossible to manage your blog on their site. And Blog Talk Radio always has glitches on Sundays when customer support is not available. Or it'll have glitches when they're supposed to be available, but they aren't. They're not there. Morgan feels the same way about what? WordPress? Probably. And besides, Google gives me a free blog. Oh, Morgan wants something but doesn't know what it is. I do have Whoppers. They aren't the best malted milk balls, chocolate covered malt. But I can't find any good brands. We used to have a shop that made them on site in their own kitchen, but they closed down. Long story. I have some candy corn, the good stuff from Brock's. Let's try one of them. But what I'm craving isn't sweet. I just can't figure out what it is. Yeah, well, Tora, I'm not gonna grant your wishes till I'm through with my podcast. Cats are amazingly. Where's your face? She moved. She knew I was putting her on camera. They're amazingly psychic. There she is. There's Tora. Where'd your face go, kid? She keeps hiding. Okay, I give up. What? Well, I'm not opening the can just yet. Yeah. I love the pull tab cans when they work. But recently I bought a case of canned cat food. And when I got it home, I found that 2 of the cans had been smashed by rough handling, and the lids had popped open, so I had to toss them in the trash. Not gonna take a chance on my cat getting food poisoning from a can that's been open for who knows how long. Yes, you're cute, Tora. Up until a couple years ago, I could not get a normal cat to eat the 9 Lives brand. It was horrible slop. But apparently they've improved their quality. Someone gave me a couple cans of 9 Lives, and they were these little diced chunks of actual meat. instead of a slurry of who knows what. And they liked it. But they still alternate between Friskies and Fancy Feast with an occasional people tuna. I can't open a can without Tora inspecting it, and she just loves a can of tuna fish. Oddly, she did not want the expensive brand of white albacore. Did you? She likes tuna, which is not as expensive, but man, $1.50 for a can of tuna that used to be less than 50 cents not that long ago. They've kept the price of bacon down, but you know how they did it? They reduced the amount of bacon in the package. At one time, it was 16 ounces. That's 2 pounds. And then it became 12 ounces. Okay, pound and a half. Well, now it's 8 ounces. Wait a minute. 16 ounces is 1 pound. I don't know where my brain went. So it was 16 ounces, that's a pound. Then it was 12 ounces, which is 3/4 of a pound. Now it's 8 ounces, half a pound. Oh, beef is outrageous. I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. I looked at a ribeye. It was 3/4 of a pound, over $18. I didn't want a steak that bad. Used to be able to get a ribeye in a restaurant, cooked by the chef and brought to your table for less than that. For $18, you'd get a lobster tail with your steak. Jeez. Oh well. Flank steak cut into bite-sized strips, thin strips, bite-size, and fry those up with some onions and bell peppers and have fajitas. You know, wrap them in a tortilla. Maybe add some avocado and sour cream if you can find them. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Chicken is getting very scarce in the United States. They say it's the bird flu, and they've had to slaughter thousands, maybe millions of chickens. Well, the ones that lay eggs. So there will be an egg shortage soon, but chicken is already getting rather scarce. And the price has gone up a little. In some cases, a lot. Depends upon what part of the chicken you want. Oh well, I suppose. Well, I have enough canned food to share with neighbors if it comes down to it, but I'm just blessed that our various churches and charities have been giving away food. So I imagine everybody who had half a brain has received those donations. And sometimes it's very good food. I mean, there's a lot of bags of dried beans, bags of rice. Oh, rice is going up. I forget why, but it's getting scarce and going up. And let's see, there's bags of those potato flakes, dehydrated potatoes to make mashed potatoes. What I use those for is to thicken a sauce. You don't have to be as careful as you do with flour or cornstarch. You can just toss in potato flakes, stir it in, let it simmer a bit, and you might need to repeat until you get the sauce as thick as you want it. Let's see. So, oh, and cans of weird things. Cans and cans and cans of peaches, pears, fruit cocktail, or mixed fruit, they sometimes call it. It has grapes and cherries along with chunks of pear and peach. I don't know, canned grapes are weird. So are the cherries. But I will make a pan of jello, gelatin, and add the canned fruit to it. I'm trying to think. I think I've already eaten all that I made. I could eat while I was sick. Well, I did a few cooking vlogs, but I don't know, I might do more. And of course, there's some posts about cooking on my Blogspot blog, but I'm still learning and experimenting so I can either expand the cookbook I already published or write a sequel, something like Adventures in Cooking. I have had more failures than successes, but I only post the successes. Oh no, the wind is coming up. The devil wind, I hate it. It's usually followed by freezing rain, but probably not today, probably just wind. But it isn't warm. And when the wind hits you, even though it might be 50 or even 60 degrees, I get a chill when that wind hits me. I'm going to try to do a live cooking video next time I make fajitas. We'll see how that works out. I was doing them on my phone, but I think I can use the laptop with the webcam. We'll see. Might work. I get to do laundry today. Gotta go to the laundromat. Someone is promising to fix my washing machine. Oh, hi, Oswald. Sorry, I'm almost done. It's almost time to sign off. It's been an hour and 45. Well, anyway, I'll try to do a live cooking video. I'm not, I've never tried to edit a video, so I'm not really willing to record it and try to edit it. I might record it and post it, but I just have to learn how to edit videos, and I don't think I have very good editing software. I am getting worried about food shortages because, oh, coleslaw. Yeah, that's the best coleslaw in the universe. Not my recipe, my stepmother's recipe, but it's delicious and she showed me how to do it. I don't think you need warm weather to make coleslaw. Oh well. The real secret is to add your other ingredients one at a time and allow the cabbage to rest in between so the juices can come out and make the dressing really tasty. And one advantage is you can use far less mayonnaise if you happen to be watching your calories, or maybe you're on a low fat diet. Oh, the slaw is more appetizing when it's warm, hey? Okay. You can make that with other vegetables, but I happen to like it with cabbage. I might try it with iceberg lettuce. That would be interesting. Uh, Sometimes I add raisins to the coleslaw. Um, oh, in Europe, raisin means grape, dried grapes, dried raisins. Um, I've lost the word. I've lost another word. Oh well. So I'll add raisins, dried raisins, and leave them in the liquid in the fridge long enough to plump up before I eat them. Some people add uh, lettuce that has been sliced super thin. Not lettuce, what am I saying? Carrots, shredded carrots. I, I don't know. I find them a little difficult to chew even when they're shredded, but I do like carrots, and I try to get carrot juice and just drink it, but I love a fresh carrot. Cooked carrots are okay, but fresh carrots are awesome. Dipped in ranch dressing, even better. Anyway, we're creeping up toward 2 hours, an hour and 49. Taurus antsy wants OUT, and I think I think I'll just recycle some coffee and come back because I want to talk some more. So hang in there. I'll be back. Dum de dum, dum de dum de dum, dum de dum, dum de dum de dum, dum de dum, dum de dum de dum. Got eye itchies again. It's this time of year. The lilacs are gorgeous. I think I'd better just do a short video of the lilacs and post that up here. Oh, hard to garden in an apartment. If you have a sunny window, you can grow something in a pot. I'm blessed to have an actual yard with real dirt, but it's a curse this time of year because of the weeds and the pollen. Um, sorry. Every week I put out at least 2 large trash bags full of yard waste, fallen oak leaves, and the weeds that I've pulled up. And there would be more of it if I were not so gimpy and unable to do as much as needs to be done. Rules against having things on your balcony. Yeah. There have been cases in the United States where cities have fined people for growing vegetables in the front yard, where people see them as if growing tomatoes were some kind of an eyesore. I've had some ridiculous citations from code enforcement, but they never bothered me about growing tomatoes in the front yard. I had to write to them once when I got this citation for weeds. And recently they started um, including a photo in their notice notice to abate. Well, I had to write back and say, I am not pulling up my daffodils. Don't you know the difference between a weed and a cultivated plant? Yeah, civilization was a big mistake. As I often say, the party line is that the rise of large scale agriculture made cities possible. But, sorry, more eye itchies. I believe that the rise of cities made large scale agriculture necessary. I think we were misled by wealthy and powerful elites who might not have been exactly human. At least they believed they were gods. Into building cities and huge temple complexes and stuff like that. When you have a large city with the big high muckety muck in his castle, you need lots of servants. Servants who are not free to grow their own food. Not even free to live in a place where food can be grown. So you have to go out with your armed mercenaries and force the farmers to give you their food. We are today living under a form of feudalism. That's what that is. Big high muckety muck who believes himself, it's usually a man, not always, to be noble or royal or half god, hires a bunch of thugs to take, oh, that's my glass of water, to take from you what he wants or needs. Yeah, renting. Basically, even though technically I own my home or I'm at least buying it from the bank by paying the mortgage, it's really a lease. The city makes all kinds of rules. The county makes rules. The state makes rules. And the federal government makes rules about what I can do with my property. So it isn't really mine. I have to pay taxes on it. But at least I can grow tomatoes in my front yard. Oh, man. Yeah, lots of companies, not just landlords, have sued people for posting negative reviews online. Well, some negative reviews are fake. But an honest negative review, and what they count on is that you don't have enough money to hire a lawyer to fight them. Case in point, on Leto's law, I better type that LEHTO apostrophe S, Leto's law. The apostrophe didn't get in there. LEHTO apostrophe S, law. On YouTube. The guy's a lawyer. He just covers the news. Doesn't talk much about his own cases and only old cases and only in general without identifying people. But he talked about a recent case, different lawyers, different situation. A man who had the money and didn't mind spending it sued a homeowners association, an HOA, because he learned that his house was not in the area that the HOA governed. When he found the actual map, it showed that his whole neighborhood, where they had been forced to pay $200 a month to the HOA, was not part of the HOA. So he quit paying, and they tried to foreclose on his home. He spent about $250,000 fighting them. It went all the way to the state Supreme Court. And every time the HOA, Homeowners Association, lost. But at $200 a month, it would have taken at least 100 years for it to cost this guy what he spent on the lawsuit. But he was willing to do it, and he did it, and he won. Plus, the HOA was ordered to pay him $15,000, a drop in the bucket compared to what he spent, but still some justice, and they're refusing to pay it. My brother used to live in a gated community with a homeowners association. And one time I went to visit and I went to park in the visitors' parking. But there were some children playing in the street, so I had to stop and wait for them to get out of the street so I could park. And my old clunker of a car didn't have the best muffler in the world, so when I started up again, it made some noise and put out a little smoke. But I parked and walked to my brother's condominium, and a woman who had been sitting on her front porch drinking beer followed me halfway there. And sure enough, within a few days, the Homeowners Association, not checking to see who owned the car, sent a letter to my brother claiming that he had sped. He had been speeding, driving too fast within the complex. Well, I know that I was not speeding, and I was the one driving, so I wrote back to them and just described the situation and closed with, I don't know why that woman thought I was speeding, but she was drinking beer. Needless to say, the matter was dropped. But they were going to fine my brother all kinds of money for speeding. Oh, hi, Jan. I'm about to sign off myself. You got the book. Awesome possum. I'm so glad you got my book. Now it's your book. I still have to send a book to, I think it was V. I had to find the box with the owl nightlight that goes with that book. Remember, my owl nightlight needs a new home? I finally found it. It's a pain trying to get around. I have to move the furniture again. Good thing my living room is sort of Victorian. Tiny pieces of furniture and lots of them, so I can actually move them. Okay, where does this thing open? There, here we go. The owl, nightlight. Owls are meaningful. It's in a box that it will be in this box. It's the box that my gadget came in. They call it a PERS, Personal Emergency Response System. You know, like, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. The box will be perfect for mailing the owl nightlight with a copy of my book. So, V, if you're still here, I will send you the book. Let's see. Well, enjoy your Zoom meeting, Jan. Glad you dropped by. This keyboard likes to mess with my typing. Like I'll press a key once and it'll type the letter 2 or 3 times. The laptop computer is worse. My hand will pass over the mouse pad and bad things will happen. But when I want to use the mouse pad, it just doesn't work. Don't you just love technology? I'm fortunate, by the way, to live near small farms. You know, the kind you wouldn't think of it as small considering the amount of land, but they are not owned by corporations. They're family run and they don't use a lot of machines and they don't use a lot of chemicals. And there are even some organic farms. Uh, so I can usually get good food. It's a little pricey, but worth it. And quite often they'll donate their surplus to the food bank or the church, and they'll distribute it to everyone. Yeah, if only we had more. And Mom used to talk, and my grandparents would talk about World War II when my grandfather planted beans and raised rabbits because there was a food shortage in World War II. And I just don't believe that it was entirely due to sending food to the soldiers overseas because didn't they eat when they were at home and not over fighting in France or North Africa? Oh well. But there were food shortages, especially of beef and pork, because of course their K rations included a can of Spam. And now Spam to this day is very popular in the nations of the Pacific Islands, Hawaii, the Philippines. Hawaii has an annual Spam festival with Spam recipe contests. I kind of like Spam. It's pork shoulder that's been salted, almost like corned beef. And of course, it's preserved, it's cooked and preserved in a can. I kind of like to slice it up and either broil it or fry it to get most of the oil out of it. But I don't eat it every day. It isn't a delicacy, it's an occasional treat. And I guess in World War II, some people had backyard chickens. But when my Aunt Bernie got married, in order to buy certain food items, you had to have these coupons, these ration coupons. And everybody in the neighborhood had to contribute their sugar rations so my aunt could have a wedding cake. And it was not one of those huge stacked up cakes either. Um, okay. Oh dear, my ride to the laundromat is coming soon. What time is it? Ugh, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go. Let's see. I gotta go. Thank you all for listening and have a great day. Now I gotta get on the phone. Where'd I put it? And reply. Come on. She messaged that she's running late. Late to. Yeah. Okay. Yes, God bless us, everyone, and God bless all of you. And V, if you're listening, I'll send you your book as soon as possible. Bye. What the hiss?